Well, we started in North Carolina, and we started with a home study for like any adoption, but we knew we probably weren't going to go overseas just because of the cost or whatever. So we started doing just like out of state because we always wanted to have more kids, and it just didn't work out the natural way. So we started looking into that. And then Dwight got sent to Korea. So that was kind of hard because they want both people to be at the visits or both people to meet them or whatever. So we just kind of put it on hold. We got orders, and when we came here was right at the time our home study expired. And so we had to figure out what a next step would be. And that seemed to be foster care that would get kids in because our kids were already now 15 and 13. I had not had any previous experience, but we were always kind of the family that took kids from friends, or we had a really good friend that was a single military person, and we always took her kid in, and we just always kind of had an open house. And so once we decided that we had our 2 kids and adoption overseas wasn't what we were interested in, because we were always thought of adoption even before we had our kids, then this seemed to be the thing that popped up when we got here, and we were able to use that home study and kind of pour it into the other home study so we could take our classes, and it just seemed natural to go into that step. And like you said, we kind of started with foster to adopt, thinking that's all we would do. And then 40 kids later, we've been fostering, so that's that. And then we did adopt our 2 boys, so
Yeah.
it worked out. So when they called us for the boys, Dwight was deployed somewhere. I don't actually remember where at this point. And when they came here, we really thought they were going to be reunified. It just seemed like the parents were working towards it. I didn't really think much of it. Then they called back and said, oh no, we found another placement. So I was like, okay, fine. Then they asked us to take 3 girls. And I was like, 3 girls, no. I didn't want 3 girls. So I was like, that's too much with the 2 other ones. So then they called back and said, the other placement fell through. Will you take the boys back? Great. So they came, we did case plans. We really thought they were going back. And then all of a sudden something just changed, and then we just knew. So when we first came, we loved them immediately, and they were very quiet when they came in, which they are not now at all. But we really thought they'd be going back, so we really didn't think that far ahead. And so by the time they were actually adopted, he was back in Korea for another deployment. So he wasn't here when they came, and he wasn't here when they were adopted, but in between it worked out. So it was, they were here 2 years and 2 months before they were adopted.
Yeah, so it was interesting because when we were fostering to adopt, and we were just kind of having the kids come through, and like she said, sometimes it seems kind of very hectic because they'll ask you to see a group or take a child in, or 2, whoever, a sibling group, and then they'll be for temporary, and then okay, we've seen that multiple times. They'll come back, or they'll give us a call and say, hey, can you take one of them if something's going on? And so I knew about the boys. I saw pictures of them, and I thought, okay. And then again, are they going to stay, going to go? And then by the time I came back, they were already in the placement of staying here. And so then I'm like, okay. So again, I hung out, but I had to leave or get orders or whatever. So I came up and left, and then it just kind of happened that way. So we just worked through the paperwork. Honestly, that's what we were waiting on.
So as far as support, that's a unique situation in a military family because our immediate family is not here. They're not here on a daily basis, on a weekly basis. If we get a call for a foster kid at midnight and I don't have anyone else for my kids because he's deployed or at training, who do I call? So 2 things happen for us, and we're lucky in that way. We have a basis of military friends who become more like family sometimes than even your regular friends. And we are blessed with many of them here. I have a Catholic women's group on post. It's Catholic Women of the Chapel. They will drop anything and do anything. They've brought food. We had another military friend who had a preemie, and we took some of her kids, so not really foster care, but I had my foster kids, her kids, my kids. That group made us food. And for us, we are part of a church that is just always there. And my kids go to school there, so if we need a ride, we can call someone for a ride. We are friends with everyone, from the priest to the principal, to other friends, to other teachers. I messaged a teacher today, oh hey, send Josh to aftercare because we have this, and Mariah has title, and the other ones have basketball. She gave me a thumbs up back, so I knew he was taken care of, and that always happens.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest things being in the military. If folks are kind of maybe not sure about it, you have to try, and the rewards are far better than you can ever imagine. But having that support, they may be surprised because it's already there. Again, military lifestyle, and again, that I think it shouldn't ever hold people back. And again, they'll find it very quickly because they're already doing it. That's what's so crazy is whether we had foster kids or not, we're doing a lot of that with our friends and folks and people we may know from even other assignments. And all at once, it's like, well, okay, it's no different if you have issues and problems with your kids. You're reaching out to your family because most of the other military folks are kind of in the same situation. They may be lucky to have family here, but again, probably the majority of us, no, we're all over the country, but we know we're part of the military family. So, yeah.
So I think foster care is important because we need someone to step up for those kids in the time of need when their parents can't. And most importantly, I think we want to try to reunify those. We want to be a resource for the kids and sometimes the parents. And in my case, that has happened. And we are friends with some of the parents of the kids that went back there, and I still keep in touch with them. And that can be so important because that can foster that for the rest of their lives, that those parents made those good decisions and they got them back. But then these kids know that there's other people in their lives that will step in and take care of them. I personally foster because I just love kids and I hate to see them hurt. And I've been told that when they come here, they don't like to leave. A lot of kids want to stay here, and sometimes they already have a plan for going. But I really, for me, like to bring them in and they become part of the family. Whether it's overnight, a week, or a long-term stay, they need to feel like they're part of the family. We take them to our church family, we take them to our school family, we just incorporate them in everything. But also letting them know that hopefully they are going back home.